honored, and I'm also more honored that because, you know, what we're talking about is so important and so meaningful that we're able to have this much anticipation, and so many people want to go see it and are talking about it. Like, that's what I'm grateful for.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me.
Is Blake Lively's untouchable Hollywood image about to shatter? Behind the scenes of the highly anticipated film adaptation of It Ends With Us, a toxic storm is brewing, and it's threatening to engulf not just the movie, but potentially the careers of everyone involved. What started as excited whispers about creative differences between director Justin Baldoni and star Blake Lively has exploded into a full-blown Hollywood war. Accusations are flying, legal threats are being brandished, and now, in a shocking twist, a 10-person celebrity defense squad has emerged, seemingly backing Baldoni and casting a dark shadow of doubt over Lively's side of the story. Get ready, because this isn't just your typical on-set drama. This is a potential reputation implosion, and we're diving deep into every explosive detail.
Testing for a show that ended up actually getting picked up and doing very well, and I was one of 2 people maybe, and then I get a call from my managers and my agent. They were both on the line, which means it's something serious. Either you got the job or there's something wrong. And they said, so you were the choice, but the network said that your eyebrows would be too distracting.
Oh, what?
Oh no.
And then they went like, so what can we do about your eyebrows?
Remember when news broke that Colleen Hoover's wildly popular novel, It Ends With Us, was hitting the big screen? Fans went wild. This book wasn't just a bestseller, it was a cultural phenomenon, known for its raw emotion and complex characters. And the casting seemed perfect. Justin Baldoni, known for directing tearjerkers, was at the helm, also set to star. Blake Lively, fresh off her comedic charm in movies like A Simple Favor, was tapped to bring the beloved Lily Bloom to life. It felt like a Hollywood dream team, ready to deliver a movie that would capture hearts and maybe even break box office records. The hype was real, the anticipation was palpable, and then things went south. Fast. Out of nowhere, whispers of on-set friction started swirling, quickly escalating into open accusations from Lively herself. She claimed Baldoni was steamrolling her creative input, forcing unwanted comedic moments and over-the-top styling choices that felt completely wrong for the character and the story. Suddenly, that dream project was looking more like a nightmare, and the confetti had turned into something decidedly less celebratory. But here's where things really took a turn, because Baldoni wasn't just issuing a polite denial. He fired back, and his response was nothing short of explosive.
She said, just read it, because I was looking for movies that could be commercial and speak to the human experience. And
were you reading romance novels?
And I had never read a romance novel.
Never?
And she said, just trust me, read it. So I read it, and by the end of the book, I couldn't even read the text on the page because I was crying so much. My wife was in bed next to me, and she's, you know, that snot coming out of my nose.
Baldoni didn't just shrug off Lively's accusations. He went nuclear. He slapped Lively with a defamation lawsuit, and we're not talking small claims court here. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. Baldoni's legal team came out swinging, claiming Lively wasn't just mistaken, she was actively damaging his reputation and the film's prospects with false statements. But it wasn't just about words. Baldoni reportedly brandished a trove of evidence. Text messages, meeting minutes, even detailed production logs, all allegedly proving that Lively was on board with the comedic and stylish direction from the very beginning. He argued that she wasn't a victim of forced comedy, but an active participant in shaping that very tone. Then the drama ratcheted up to an almost unbelievable level. Baldoni's side went even further, suggesting that Lively's team might have crossed a dangerous line. Whispers started circulating about potentially fabricated evidence, misrepresented documents, the implication being that Lively's camp might have tried to create a narrative of victimhood by manipulating the facts. Suddenly, this wasn't just a clash of creative visions, it was a high-stakes legal battle with the shadow of potential forgery accusations hanging over it all. The tension was palpable, the stakes were sky high, and just when you thought it couldn't get any more dramatic, Hollywood's A-list decided to weigh in.
A lot of it's my real life clothes or my husband's clothes or my girlfriend Gigi's clothes. I was borrowing some.
Wait, that's kind of amazing. So you have something of Gigi's in the movie.
Yeah, it's like a wedding, like something old, something borrowed, something blue, something new.
Wait, which
except
one?
it's just,
now I want to think of the scene.
Oh, I'm wearing her stuff all over it.
Oh, really?
And tons of like Bodhi, which is with the suit now that I'm wearing is Bodhi. It was meant for my husband, but I borrowed it.
His suit?
It was meant for him to wear, but it's so pretty. Look at it. You guys are not getting it in the shot.
Just when it seemed like this Hollywood feud was confined to legal documents and he said she said accusations, the celebrity cavalry arrived, and they were riding for Justin Baldoni. The first wave of defenders came in the form of some seriously respected names: Gina Rodriguez, Chrissy Metz, and Hilary Swank. Gina Rodriguez, who starred in Jane the Virgin, knows Baldoni's directing style firsthand. She didn't mince words, praising his integrity and insisting he'd never sacrifice a story's emotional depth for cheap laughs or flashy costumes. In her view, any comedic or stylish choices were likely collaborative, not Baldoni dictating from on high. Then came Chrissy Metz, known for her role in This Is Us. She and Baldoni connected through charity work and shared values. While she didn't name names, Metz subtly dropped hints about kindness and truth, guiding discussions about creative differences, clearly suggesting she sided with Baldoni's character and approach. And then, Hilary Swank, a two-time Oscar winner, entered the chat. Swank, through social justice initiatives, had also crossed paths with Baldoni and formed an impression of him as someone who champions women's voices and collaboration. The idea that he'd ignore Lively's perspective just didn't align with her experience or what she'd heard from others. These weren't just casual endorsements. Rodriguez's direct experience on set, Metz's focus on character, and Swank's reputation for female empowerment. These statements carried weight. Social media exploded. Lively's fans demanded receipts, while Baldoni's supporters cheered, calling these voices the rational perspective amidst the storm. Of course, skeptics pointed out that maybe these stars only saw a curated side of Baldoni, but regardless of what side you were on, one thing was clear: the narrative was shifting. These weren't just random opinions, this was a coordinated, or at least organically aligned defense of Baldoni, and it was only the beginning, because what happened next turned this trickle of support into a full-blown Hollywood flood.
It's a bit of a tough adjustment in our house, but it's good. I mean, I have two other daughters, so my oldest is very into the baby, but my middle child, not so much. But we're thinking of keeping her.
Does she like play with her? What does she think?
Well, she sort of like pretends to play with her. So like in the beginning, our oldest is like loving on her, and she's like very maternal, and then our middle daughter is just keeps away from her.
The initial trio was just the opening act. The second wave of celebrity support for Baldoni brought even more firepower, especially when it came to directly addressing the core of Lively's accusations: the forced comedy. Enter Mindy Kaling, comedic royalty, and the mastermind behind hits like The Office and Never Have I Ever. Asked about the controversy, Kaling didn't explicitly take sides, but her words spoke volumes. She subtly suggested that Baldoni's strength lies in blending humor with heart, but never at the expense of the emotional core of a story. Her implication was clear: comedic additions in an adaptation are usually a group effort, not a director's solo decree. The subtext: if comedy ended up in It Ends With Us, Lively likely had a hand in it too. It was a diplomatic nudge, not directly accusing Lively of dishonesty, but definitely casting doubt on her narrative of comedic oppression. Then came Selena Gomez, a star whose reach is undeniable. While not directly involved in the film, Gomez's social circles overlapped with both Lively and Baldoni. Sources whispered that Selena expressed skepticism about Lively's claims of being blindsided by comedic or fashion choices. In her signature understated way, she reportedly pointed out that lead actors, especially someone with Lively's star power, typically have significant creative control. The idea of a major star being unknowingly thrust into comedic scenes after cameras rolled just didn't align with her own experiences in the industry. It was a gentle, "Are you sure you weren't on board?" aimed squarely at Lively's stance. Adding further weight was Jordan Fisher, a multi-talented performer respected across stage, screen, and music. Fisher, who knows Baldoni personally, described him as one of the fairest dudes in the industry. When pressed about the It Ends With Us drama, Jordan stated that if comedic or lavish elements went too far, it was undoubtedly a collectively endorsed move. He painted a picture of Baldoni as someone who prioritizes open communication and hashing out conflicts, the polar opposite of the dictatorial director Lively described. The combined effect of these voices was undeniable. Comedy experts, industry insiders, and respected peers were all, in their own ways, raising eyebrows at Lively's narrative. The question wasn't just, is Baldoni a good guy, anymore. It was becoming, is Lively's version of events the full truth, and the celebrity chorus was only getting louder.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me, is that she's a walking, talking contradiction, yet it's perfectly harmonious for her.
By now, the trickle of celebrity support for Justin Baldoni had become a tidal wave. Adding their voices to the growing chorus were Ali Ello, the voice of Moana, who found it surprising that Baldoni would disregard a star's creative input based on her collaborative experiences with him at benefit concerts. Then Shawn Mendes, the music superstar, chimed in with a social media post praising Baldoni as one of the real ones in Hollywood, someone who champions uplifting stories. A seemingly random endorsement that, given the timing, felt pointedly supportive of Baldoni amidst the drama. Camila Cabello, never one to shy away from candor, weighed in during a fan Q&A stating plainly that a star as big as Blake Lively hardly gets forced into anything she truly opposes, especially on a major production. She emphasized that comedic direction is usually decided well in advance with the lead actor's agreement, suggesting the timeline of Lively's complaints fell off. Sophia Bush, known for her outspokenness and championing fairness in Hollywood, rounded out the 10. While her support was more subtle, reports surfaced that she privately reached out to Baldoni to offer encouragement, drawing on her own experiences with industry conflicts. Publicly during a panel discussion about women in film, Bush made a cryptic but telling statement. One person's story can't always be taken at face value when we know how complicated big productions can be. Many interpreted this as a direct, though nuanced, jab at Lively's meltdown narrative, suggesting there was more to the story than a simple tale of comedic tyranny. 10 names. Gina Rodriguez, Chrissy Metz, Hilary Swank, Mindy Kaling, Selena Gomez, Jordan Fisher, Ali Ello, Shawn Mendes, Camila Cabello, and Sophia Bush. 10 respected figures in Hollywood, all offering some version of the same message. Justin Baldoni isn't that guy. He's not a steamroller, he's not dismissive of actors, and the idea that Lively was somehow forced into a comedic direction against her will just doesn't add up based on their experiences and industry understanding. The sheer weight of this celebrity defense squad was undeniable. It wasn't just about who was right or wrong anymore. It was about public perception. In Hollywood, where image is everything, 10 voices of this magnitude casting doubt on your narrative is a powerful force. And the question suddenly shifted: how would Blake Lively and her team respond to this star-studded counteroffensive? Was she prepared to stand her ground against a growing tide of celebrity opinion?
It's based on a beautiful, really important book, and it's about a young woman named Lily who confronts the generational cycles in her life and breaks them and ends the circle. And I hope people find it inspiring, and yet also, you know, it's a film about a heavy topic. It's about domestic violence.
So where does this Hollywood hurricane land? Several paths are possible, and none of them look pretty. One scenario, a hush-hush settlement. Both sides, realizing the PR nightmare is spiraling, might opt to cut their losses and reach a confidential agreement. Think NDAs, payouts, and a carefully crafted joint statement about creative differences. Hollywood damage control at its finest. But given the intensity of the accusations and the millions at stake in Baldoni's defamation suit, a quiet resolution seems increasingly unlikely. That raises the specter of a full-blown public trial. Imagine the courtroom drama. Depositions featuring Jordan Fisher dissecting Baldoni's communication style, Mindy Kaling analyzing comedic synergy, Chrissy Metz testifying about mutual trust on set. On Lively's side, potentially other voices emerging, claiming a toxic environment and a comedic vision that spiraled out of control. A trial would be a media circus, a ratings bonanza, and a potential career battlefield. But there's a nuclear option looming: the alleged planted evidence. If Baldoni's team can produce undisputed proof that Lively's side fabricated or doctored documents, that's game over for Lively. That level of deception would be reputationally devastating, potentially eclipsing even the initial creative conflict. It could trigger a swift and decisive legal victory for Baldoni and leave Lively's credibility in tatters. Adding another layer of complexity is the Disney factor. Whispers suggest Disney potentially eyeing Baldoni for future family-friendly projects might be subtly backing him from afar. Industry giants don't like messy public feuds, but they also value talent they perceive as brand safe. Lively's legal team will argue that star endorsements are irrelevant in a court of law, but in the court of public opinion and within the closed doors of Hollywood studios, they carry significant weight. Meanwhile, It Ends With Us remains in limbo. Will this meltdown permanently tarnish the film? Can the marketing machine salvage the original comedic sparkle meets heartfelt director synergy? Or will the final product be forever overshadowed by the behind-the-scenes chaos? The film's fate, much like the reputations of Lively and Baldoni, hangs precariously in the balance as this Hollywood drama continues to unfold. In the dizzying world of Hollywood, where image is currency and truth is often a casualty, the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni meltdown serves as a stark cautionary tale, a beloved book adaptation, a clash of creative visions, shocking accusations, and a 10-strong celebrity defense squad. It's a narrative whirlwind that leaves you breathless. At its heart, this isn't just about comedic lines or wardrobe choices, it's a battle for narrative control. He said, she said, amplified by a chorus of celebrity endorsements on one side and a defiant stance on the other. Will Lively's claims of being overshadowed and manipulated ultimately hold weight, or will the collective voice of these 10 defenders solidify a counter-narrative? And what about those whispers of planted evidence? The ultimate Hollywood betrayal. In a digital age where every text, every tweet, every like can be dissected and weaponized, this meltdown proves one thing: nothing stays secret for long, and reputation can teeter on a razor's edge. As we await the next twist in this unfolding saga, be it a courtroom showdown, a quiet settlement, or another celebrity bombshell, one question lingers. In a town built on image, who will ultimately control the narrative of this Hollywood meltdown? And what will be the lasting fallout? Now, we want to hear from you. Whose side are you leaning towards in this Hollywood hurricane? Do you believe Lively's claims of creative oppression, or does the celebrity defense squad sway your opinion? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, smash that like button if you're hooked on this Hollywood drama, and don't forget to subscribe for more piping hot tea straight from the entertainment vortex, because in Hollywood, the drama is never truly over, it just evolves.